Hello, it's Randy Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Believe it.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randy Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
He ought to allow the formation of an independent commission and get out of the way.
Wow, man. Wow. Gotta say, wow. So, will Russia cost Trump his presidency? It would be fitting since they're the ones who gave it to him. No, really, Napoleon, Hitler, they were both destroyed when they tried to conquer Russia. Trump may be the first leader destroyed by trying to kiss Russia's ass. That's what's so, up is down, black is white through the looking glass about this. Wow, this is just, to live in such an interesting time with such interesting monsters, such interesting people. And I must tell you that they do believe, the Republicans and the Democrats in the Senate, not the House. The House is still kicking and screaming into the night saying, can't we just move on? Can't we? Can't we just, all get along? Can't we? And then they're going to find the House, drowned in a swimming pool somewhere in L.A. But, okay, that's a Rodney King joke. But it is amazing that now you've got 7 Republican senators joining the Democrats in saying, yeah, Michael Flynn really needs to drag his skinny little bony ass up here and tell us whether or not he was, some sort of a spy for Russia, and that if he knew, and if President Trump knew, and if Vice President Pence knew, and who the hell else knew? Did Bannon know? I mean, clean house is basically what they're looking at here. So now you've got, of course, John McCain, and wherever there's John McCain, there's always Lindsey Graham. That's right. That's right. Lindsey Graham, not far behind, always. So you have those two. And now you've got, yesterday we got Roy Blunt from Missouri, obviously. Today we got Richard Burr, which is really difficult. Richard Burr from North Carolina. Oh, my God. John Cornyn from Tejas. Oh, and Bob Corker from Tennessee, all agreeing, yes, it's time for him to drag his silly little ass up here. Now, what is so bizarre is that today, in the midst of all of this news about, and I mean, people are saying the T word, and I don't mean Trump. I mean where, you can't spell Trump without treason, can you? No, just try and do it. You can't. So now they're talking about the T word. I'll play you a congressman named Brendan Boyle from Pennsylvania. This kid, Brendan Boyle, I say kid because he must be like 12 years old. I don't even think he's eligible. How old do you have to be a congressman? 35, I thought? Yeah, he's not 35. He's like 22. Oh my God, he's like 19, or is it 19? He's such a fresh-faced face up on Capitol Hill. He's talking about the T word, and I mean treason. He actually threw that around on CNN today and tweeted it. So, I'll play you what he said. But amidst all this talk about investigations now, last night, just in case you missed it, and let's say you have a normal life and you were watching. I don't even know what's on. What's on Wednesday? What was it? Tuesday? What's on Tuesday nights? I have no earthly idea. I really, really don't know. For me, it's Don Lemon. Anderson and then Lemon is what it is. I live a very Kathy Griffin life. So, yeah, so I don't know what's on. But if you were having a normal life last night, God love you, because I wasn't. All of a sudden, in the middle of, Don Lemon, there's this breaking news. And, CNN, you got to stop breaking news that isn't really breaking. Just break the stuff that's really breaking. Although I will say with Trump, it's every 5 minutes. Really, it's just an amazing thing. It's like diarrhea of breaking news. Do you know what I mean? It's just this endless rush. And just when you think you're done, breaking news. More breaking. There's more breaking. And it's like, oh, stop it. You're breaking me. But this thing is unraveling faster than I am. Okay, because last night around, 11 o'clock-ish, there's this big, breaking news episode that said that Trump campaign aides had constant contact with Russian intelligence. Not just Russian oligarchs, not just Russian government officials. Oh, no. Oh, hell no. They had constant contact with Russian intelligence. What the? I think this is probably when, Cornyn rolled out of his bed and started texting his chief of staff going, what do we do? What's our position? I think this is when, Corker said, honey, can you make me a sandwich? I got more work to do. Well, then put down the scotch. Don't text when you're drunk. Don't send an email. Don't text when you're drunk. Bob, how many times have I told you like that? Richard Burr, all of them. I could feel all, I used to live in Washington, D.C. We used to do the show from there. I did it from there about 2 years. And I used to go to all these things on Capitol. You could tell when people's phones go off when they have breaking news. And as much as, Trump wants to say CNN is fake, it is the most real news network on the planet. Okay? It really is. It can make or break prime ministers. It can pick presidents, and it is a real news network with real journalists. So anyway, this thing goes off. They all react to CNN because they know it's real news. So anyway, I could just feel all of Washington panicking last night because the intel agencies, the law enforcement agencies are talking. They're talking because the more they find, the more disgusted they get. The more frightened people are getting. The more, listen, I'll tell you something. Leon Panetta, not to be confused with John Podesta, who's probably, sitting there right now thinking of a mean risotto. And I do believe the answer to how you do it is you have to pour the broth in really slowly. It's sort of a flour deal, You put it in all at once. Not the same. It's not good. It's lumpy. So I think, what's for dinner? Fajitas tonight. Yay. Last night was Chinese stir fry. That was damn good, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. But anyway, Panetta is not Podesta, for you heathens out there that only know one word, and it begins with a C, and it ends with a T. That's all. That's now I'm saying. Anything else? No, I didn't think so. Sit down. Shut up. But okay, so Leon Panetta, this is his quote for today. He said, "I've never been so nervous in my lifetime about what may or may not happen in Washington. I don't know whether this White House is capable of responding in a thoughtful or careful way if a crisis should erupt. You can do a hit and miss stuff over a period of time, but at some point, I don't give a damn what your political sense of change is all about. You can't afford to have change become chaos." Now, for those of you who don't remember Panetta, he was Secretary of Defense. He was the head of the CIA. He was chief of staff to President Clinton. He had a 50-year career that spanned 9 presidents from both parties. So for all you people who listen to see what party is she talking about and am I for it or against it, and you start mangling the story in your head to fit your preferred outcome, Leon Panetta is not partisan. Leon Panetta has served his government for 50 years in enormous positions, enormous, CIA. I mean, come on, 9 presidents, both parties. And he's like, I have never been so nervous about, and yesterday we talked to John W. Dean. You should tweet him at John W. Dean. He loves it. And he, he's been through the wars too. John Dean has seen everything over his 50 years, in Washington as a White House counsel and a historian and an author and somebody who, served his government with a great sense of integrity, had to be the person to tell Richard Nixon, this whole thing is over, sir. It's done. You've cooked your own goose. I'm so sorry to have to tell you. And then he went out to the press and he said, there's a cancer on the presidency. And that cancer was Richard Nixon. So you have people from both parties. And like we talked to Nance yesterday, Malcolm Nance. That was a tiny slice of heaven, wasn't it? Never met him before, virtually or any other way. And post-show, we communicated as well. It's pretty fabulous. He's extraordinarily responsive. So is John W.D. Oh, and I will tell you right now, I reached out to Bernie. I did. And I got a response. They say there are great demands on his time, but he will do his best. So, because I haven't, reached out to Bernie through all of this because there are great demands on his time and he's got big fish to fry up there in the Senate. But I did think that because he was the first person to ever say the word oligarchy on my air, okay, and actually out loud in media, I thought that this would be a perfect time to talk to him about, why the Russian oligarchs, are so eager to co-opt Donald Trump and his aides. So anyway, last night there's this story that breaks over the air, over the phones. I mean, everybody's devices are going off in my house. And people were just alarmed because the New York Times hits its deadline right around 11 o'clock. That's when they put the paper to bed. Now, that's when Mrs. Burr is putting Mr. Burr to bed. That's when Mrs. Cornyn is putting Mr. Cornyn to bed. That's when, Bob Corker's wife is screaming, enough already, go to sleep. Just get off of me. Oh, that's my hair. But that's when they go to bed. I mean, the New York Times. And so that's when the stories for the next day start to become public. And that story in the New York Times last night was such a shocker. And it's not just the Trump campaign officials, but it's other associates of Donald Trump. And I'll bet you anything that's Carter Page that they're referring to. They're talking about Paul Manafort here. They're talking about Flynn, obviously. They're talking about just like half of the Trump, organization. They're talking about constant contact with Russia. Constant contact. I mean, you want to talk about email? Holy crap! It's just an amazing thing. So the story was based on intercepts. That's the sad truth. Intercepts. American intelligence and law enforcement agencies. Hello, Comey. Hello, Comey. Yeah. American intelligence and law enforcement agencies were alarmed. In part, I read now, because of the amount of contact that was occurring while Mr. Trump was speaking glowingly about the Russian President Vladimir V. Putin. At one point last summer, Mr. Trump said at a campaign event he hoped Russian intelligence services had stolen Hillary Clinton's emails and would make them public. The official said the intercepted communications were not limited to Trump campaign officials. They included other associates of Mr. Trump. And on the Russian side, the contacts also included members of the government outside the intelligence services. There are intercepts that are being provided to reporters. The officials said one of the advisors picked up on the calls. One of the advisors that was picked up on the calls was Paul Manafort. God, you owe me big time, people. God, did we call that? By the way, there is law breaking. What do you call the Attorney General? General?
Attorney, yeah.
Do you call him General? Is that the proper greeting? Like, hello, General. Nice to meet you, General. Good afternoon, General. Like that, but no salute, right? Because he's a civilian. Okay, then. General, there really is a crime here. If it's all you got, I say charge it. I know that you don't want to charge yet because there could be so much more. And it's very thrilling and dangerous. I quote John W. Dean. But he did lobby a foreign government without registering as a foreign lobbyist. That, by the way, is illegal. So there is a crime. But anyway, they looked at Manafort when he was the campaign chairman last year. And they looked at how he had worked, as a political consultant in Ukraine without registering as a foreign agent. And they refused to identify the other Trump associates. But the call logs and the intercepted communications are just part of a larger trove of information that the FBI is sifting through as it investigates the links between Mr. Trump's associates and the Russian government, as well as the hacking of the DNC. And also the FBI has obtained banking and travel records and conducted interviews. Well, I kind of knew that a few days ago. I won't say where, but I did tweet to Paul Begala this little nugget. And I didn't get an answer. He probably thought I was crazy, but I did go too fast, I will say. I tweeted him, and he lied, meaning Flynn, and he lied to the FBI too. I should not have let that leak. I should not have. But they did interview him up at the FBI. Hi, Comey. And if Flynn lied to the FBI about whether or not he talked to Russian intelligence repeatedly, he goes to jail. He goes to jail. Bye-bye, dickhead. See ya in Attica. Name that movie. All right, our phone number, what the hell is it? 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844. A lot today. There's even more. There's more on the voter fraud stuff. I got more on Kellyanne Conway, too. Sarah Huckabee. Oh, stuck her big toe in it big time. Go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.